But what I was thinking, for the map portion, what if we fleshed out this Cascade ship, right? This maybe living ship, a ship that itself is a great old one, which makes pacts with some, most, all of its sailors. Think of it. What if the Cascade is a ship kind of like oh shoot, what's the one that they use in Farscape? Right, it's a living bio spaceship. You know the one I'm talking about? Or think kind of how, you know, Tyranids kind of just get around in their big bio ships. What if the Cascade is like that? What if the Cascade is like a small city in the sea? You know, think of like a cruise ship that holds several thousand people on board. So Santa, I guess we'll map in a way, but we're gonna be doing some world building, some exploration. No, it's fine, Santa. Don't worry about it. Anyway, you have the gist, right? We're talking about here. We have this young girl, this sailor who's a great old one, pact holder. And you know what? Even our first character is a pact holder too. Now that is the Pact of the Fiend. Interesting, huh? Or think, if you've played Final Fantasy X, there's a creature there called Sin. Maybe that would be more familiar to a similar concept, what I'm talking about. So we got a little inspiration. Not that we can't talk about other stuff, but I figured, hey, let's do a simple exercise. Let's make the Cascade. You know, who is it? What is it? If it's a small floating city, we can develop it like a city, right? It's just going to be arranged a little bit differently. So while I was on break, not only was I getting some water, I also opened up some documents so that we could go through this process again. And let's make a city, but it's not going to be on land. It's going to be in the sea. The Cascade itself is a floating city. It's like an aircraft carrier. So once more here, I will, I'll direct you to the Dungeon Master's Guide. This has excellent world building concepts. I highly recommend looking at it, even if it's not for D&D. This is a really good way to build a fantasy world or a story world if you want to be a writer and it doesn't have anything to do with D&D. Right? So do we have a village? Is it up to 1,000? Hey Bobo, good to see you. Is it a town? Ooh. Maybe kind of in between. Maybe not a city, although wouldn't that be interesting? So let's come down here and determine which kind of government. You know, you think, oh, well, it's the captain, and the captain has officers and whatever, and that may be. But how does it manifest on board this very unique ship? Bobo, we have made 2 characters, and now we are going to make a map or a city. However, because of one of those characters, we have imagined that there is a ship called the Cascade that itself is probably a great old one that makes warlock pacts with some, most, or all of its sailors. So what kind of a government runs the Cascade? Roll a d20 and find out. I'm sorry, a percentile. 68. This is a monarchy. So, the king is the captain. who gives orders right from, well, from wherever he's sitting. You know, there's not necessarily some kind of a, you know, a Senate or a House or anything along those lines. He gives the orders. A single hereditary sovereign wears the crown. So maybe he is the next in, you know, he was the next in line in his family. And his family has been piloting the Cascade for the last 1,000 years, as far as anyone knows. A little bit, Bobo, yeah. Unlike the autocrat, the monarch's powers are limited by law, and the ruler serves as the head of a democracy, feudal state, or militocracy. The kingdom of Breland in the Eberron campaign setting has both a parliament that makes laws and a monarch. Okay, so it could be parliamentary. Or structured, so it's not a dictatorship per se. So I don't know. Let's throw something out there. Let's see. So I guess our options would be, there would be a parliament. It would be a militocracy. Or it would be a feudal state with titles. So there's a monarchy, but there's going to be a subtype going on here. And so let's roll a three-sided die, right? Limited law serves the head of a democracy, a feudal state, or a militocracy. I guess the fourth could be a theocracy. Well, now, I mean, monarchy, it touches on religion, can incorporate it, but a theocracy is very religion-oriented. We rolled monarchy. So let's find out which kind here. Does it have a parliament? Is it run by titles, or is it run by a military operation? 1, 2, or 3. We're going to roll a three-sided die and find out. 3. So while it is a monarchy, it is a militocracy. Military leaders run the nation under martial law using the army and other armed forces. So really, I mean, this is a naval vessel, right? It's run as a naval vessel. The captain is in charge, or the admiral, I guess, in this case. We have a captain or an admiral, and they run things by rank. And everyone on the ship has a rank, serves a purpose, and follows orders of their superiors. That could be Dark Wolf. In fact, maybe a pact is hereditary. So there are some families who are aboard who are going to receive the pact. Yeah, a floating castle, perhaps, Santa, nestled in the shell of a decrepit behemoth. Kind of like a big artificial barnacle on the back of something, right? Reminds you of a bit like a crossroad demon, says Bobo. Now, we can consider a lot of other things. What currency do they use? You know, so on and so forth. I'm not going to worry about that. There are probably going to be factions and organizations in our town. So instead, let's continue forward. Here we go. Aboard such a large bioship, there's probably going to be some interesting monuments that might have been gathered or built upon it, or something along those lines, kind of like what Santa was talking about. Let's find out, much as we do with a normal town or a village on a 2D map of a landlocked area. Let's find out what monuments exist on the Cascade. We're going to roll D20 twice. 16 and 17. A great stone arch and a fountain. Okay. As we're producing this, fill in the dots. conceptualize, what does the Cascade look like? What does this fountain do? Is this actually the source of all the fresh water aboard the ship that is normally kept in salt water? What about the Great Stone Arch? What purpose does that serve? Is it an aqueduct also? Is it an archway that if you walk under it, you find yourself in another realm? Maybe in the original realm of this great old one, or even another realm? I don't know. Think about it. Is it really just a place to hang banners and to show off and to show something off? It could be that too. All right, now the ship itself is a weird locale, but let's find something extra weird about it. Roll a d20. 13. A wrecked ship, which might be nowhere near water. Well, if that's the case, let's see. So we have a weird locale of a wrecked ship. Maybe that is the first ship that made contact with this great old one out in the sea. Maybe the wrecked ship is odd because the wrecked ship is inside the Cascade. The wrecked ship could be an airship. How about that? Or something else kind of foreign technology-wise. So that's weird, right? Maybe it's sticking out. It's sticking out of the Cascade. Or it somehow breached the side, and so it's always carried along, and that's the only way to get to the inside of the Cascade is to travel through this ship. The first one that ever challenged it and beat it. And so it punctured this hole through the side of the beast, kind of a thing. Let your imagination go wild. We can have a ton of fun with this. What's the wrecked ship? What's the stone arch? What's the fountain? Now, continue down. Let's build this settlement. Race relations. D20. 3. There is harmony. Good. And we find ourselves primarily with which races? 3 and 8. Three and 8 would be halflings and half orcs. Interesting, because almost any time we've had sailing and ships come up, half orcs have been kind of the default sailor. Well, could be something to it. Which kind of halfling in particular? Let's roll odds or evens. Odds. Stout halflings. That's probably good to kind of... Their higher constitution keeps them a little less from getting seasick or from getting salmonella or something from some rotten food. Now, obviously on a ship this size, look, you're going to have some elves and some dwarves and some whatever else. But there's a lot of half-orcs that are attracted here, so that they're a significant minority. But, you know what? Everyone seems to be living in harmony. So there's that. Next up, we have the ruler's status. Ooh, the captain of the ship. What is he or she going to be like? 8. A feared tyrant. I want you to conceptualize this captain. Whether it's a he or a she. Most likely going to be a halfling, right? They're the majority race here. Notable traits about the Cascade is 20. It's a D20. Oh, there's a large fortress on it. Have I discussed how this is a naval vessel? and this kind of goes back into what Santa was talking about kind of having a castle on its back. It's known for 1. Delicious cuisine. Well, that could be, look, fresh seafood, including seaweeds, all kinds of crustaceans and fish and other things of the sea. And heck, who knows? There could even be some plants or algae that grow on the inside of the Cascade in some kind of hydroponics or something along those lines. Or if this is a bioship, what if there's a section of it that the meat, the flesh, just keeps growing back, and so people just keep cutting it away and serving it as a meal because the flesh just keeps growing and growing and growing. Known for its delicious cuisine, and the current calamity aboard the ship is 7. Hordes of beggars. Alright, so something happened where the Cascade now has a horde of beggars aboard. And in an otherwise structured society where everyone has a job, everyone has a responsibility, something has happened here and these beggars are disrupting the operations. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, that was known for its... I already rolled delicious cuisine. Current calamity, I'm sorry, was 7. Corrupt officials. Sorry, I looked at the wrong thing. Corrupt officials. Okay. Ooh. So maybe the command isn't as tight as people thought it was. Or maybe, you know what? Everything is run in a tight order, but sometimes you gotta grease the gears. You get what I'm saying? My palm's getting a little itchy. I kind of wish that there's something in it to keep it from itching. And so some people might be selling or buying favors on behalf of others. And it's gotten to a point where the officials who ran a tight ship for the longest time should have the trust, the inherent trust of the population. All of a sudden now we have some corrupt officials that are causing some problems. And lastly... Whoa, Journeyman! Yes, lend me your power, Journeyman! Thank you, and everyone who came with you for coming over. Pocket Punch TV, oh, I love that emote. In fact, it's kind of appropriate, or inappropriate, I suppose. The map this week for the campaign, based on a 12-year-old girl character that we randomly created tonight, is a giant floating bioship. Think like the ship out of Farscape, or things similar to that, called the Cascade. And so, Barbarian, hey, good to see you too. And so we are developing this bioship as if it is its own floating city that happens to be a great old one that makes pacts with warlocks. All based on a 12-year-old girl that we just randomly generated tonight. And look where it has taken us. Journeyman, I'm sorry, if all of you were hit by an ad and you're just now seeing this, I'll kind of rewind like yep. Ah, hey Journeyman and everyone who came with you, thank you so much. I'm glad that the ad had passed. We are developing a giant floating like 1,000-person aircraft carrier style city that is inside a living organism, kind of like the Farscape spaceship, or if you're familiar with Tyranids and how they travel through space. The name of the ship from the character that we developed is called the Cascade, and we're treating this like we're making a landlocked village. Oh, there you go. You know what I'm talking about then, Journeyman. And it's effectively run as a naval vessel. It even has a fortress on it on its back. Known for its delicious cuisine, so they harvest stuff fresh, including possibly even the flesh of the creature itself that continues to regrow back. They harvest it to keep their tunnels open or to do something or another. Though there is a current calamity, there is a... It does, I believe, yes, it has its own intelligence as well, but it can be commanded, bubonic. And you know what? We're getting to the best in. We're saving the best in for last. We are going to randomly generate the Tavern. Like this is the place. If you're aboard the Cascade and you want adventure, a fight, fine cuisine, or something along those lines, this is going to be considered to be the best place to go in town. We're going to roll 2d20s and find out the name. Last week, it was a place called the Gleaming Demon. Ooh. This week, it's going to be called 17-1. The Mysterious Eel. So there might be a little activity going on the second floor, if you get what I'm saying. Goaty, I'm not... I took a year of Russian a long time ago. I am not caught up on it, so if you could stick to English, I'd appreciate it. At least until I can get my Russian skills back. You read a sci-fi series by Peter Hamilton, says Barbarian, that had a living spaceship stations, orbiting gas giants. Oh, Moya is the ship in Farscape. Okay, and they were called Leviathan. So yeah, so we're making a ship like that. We're making a ship like that. Oh, well. Oh, Belarus. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do try and be a good global citizen. But thank you for watching from Belarus. I'm very fortunate to have a lot of people from around the world who are interested in role-playing. So if I mistook the acrylic letters, or the Cyrillic, however, please accept my apology. So there you go. You want a little action? You go visit the Mysterious Eel. And just like that, we have developed an entire community that lives aboard, well, in this case, it lives aboard a floating vessel. It lives aboard something that wouldn't have existed if we hadn't randomly created a 12-year-old pirate girl who made a pact with a great old one. That in this case, because of her story, happened to be a living sentient ship. A very, like, naval ship at that. As in a militaristic ship. Okay, no problem, Journey. It was general life form, but has symbiotic relationship with the Navigator, separate alien species. And it has plenty of room for puppets. So it sounds like Dark Wolf is sketching this out. And you know what? I mean, we could do some basic sketches as well, just to get it laid out in some way. If you want, if you're a fan, actually doing things like this, we don't even have to do a topographical map per se. Kind of like what we do with a landlocked village. You know, here's good old MS Paint. And you can always... PG-13. PG-13, Zuler Pie. Yeah, right, Barbarian. Ish. I mean, so look, I mean, if you've been to the movies lately, PG-13 is still rather flexible. It is a bit different from J-Man's. I mean, look, people accidentally can drop an F-bomb or something. It happens. As long as you're not in here and you're going body part, foul language, body part. I'm fine with... Look, you all came over from a different channel. If some of you might be new here, that's fine. Okay, gotcha. So then Goaty, if whether you came independently or you kind of came whatever, if I can't have you, if you're saying bad stuff, then please don't, okay? Thank you for the heads up on that, Pie. Okay, so look. How would you go about something like this? Are you a fan of diagrams and ships? and you actually want to make something that looks like a big old cruise ship, like that, maybe a couple different levels, and then of course there's a big castle on the back that kind of rises up like this. There's nothing saying that a bioship has to look like anything in particular. It could look like a classic ship. Then, you know, we put the decks in, engineering, and it looks like a really cool schematic. You know, if any of you are big nerds and you've opened up like the schematics of Star Trek ships or Star Wars ships or things like that, you could draw the ship like it. If any of you have seen Farscape, the Farscape ship is kind of like this. It's like a big space potato. At least as far as I remember, it's a big space potato. And you know what? Who's to say that this can't go through the water as well? It could be a shape, yeah, like a love boat. You've seen every episode. Farscape was a really fun show. Well, then you know what I'm talking about. Imagine a bit of the ship is picking them up in the first Mortal Kombat movie. Ah, you could even be half and half. What if what if you have a big potato in the water, but you know the water line is here, so there's actually like a really big below decks area. However, the top of it, because this is a great old one, okay? This is a great old one god that gives out warlock packs, okay? But a shell of some kind has been developed and just sort of over the years has been retrofitted. So maybe actually this kind of comes up like this, so people don't suspect that it's actually a big sea potato. And then you just take this top portion up here and you slap this on like so. All right, there's a big castle in the back, and then here's like the lookout, and then 1,000 people live aboard this ship. Giant fins sticking out of the middle of the ship, the stone archways to keep an opening in the middle so people can cross without going around. Oh, okay. All right. So if we're going with like the peanut or the potato shape, you mean? Now, think about it too. The name was random because it was a part of the name of this pirate girl that we had developed. No, you can't have any. You had your chance. I even gave you a chance to show off your butt to everyone, and you didn't do that, sir. I have a cat over here if he hasn't shown up on camera. Here, look at everyone. No, what's this? What's this? Yeah, you might be able to see an ear or something. Alright, well. And you know what, too? This is a great old one. Meaning it can play with your mind. The ship itself may be outside of some areas that have been specifically constructed to resist it. Hey, Ostomer, thank you very much for the host. Maybe the ship actually changes shape. No one really knows what the bottom of the ship looks like. Maybe no one's ever been brave enough to explore, because it is a great old one. No, please don't eat my potato chips. Yeah. I have some mozzarella and marinara flavored chips, and you know what? They do a good job tasting like mozzarella sticks, like fried mozzarella sticks. It was a very pleasant surprise. Fred, thank you very much. Can you stop scheming, please, sir? Sir, he's scheming. Thank you very much, Fred, for the follow. Sure. So maybe the further down into this potato or this ship proper or whatever, it gets a lot more loosey-goosey with the laws of reality and mental stability. There could be an entire underclass of crew that have just lived in maybe the literal belly of the beast this whole time. And maybe they're not the most sanest of people. Or maybe they're the most sane. And it's only the people at the contact buzz otherwise. No, I'm almost done. You can't have any more. Not on the keyboard. They're all gone, see? They're disappearing. Somewhere. They're disappearing. Is this why I can't have nice things? Really? Bobo, if you can find them, there's a chip flavor here that's prime rib and horseradish. And oh my gosh, it is good stuff. Prime rib and horseradish chips. Oh, do I have a chip over here? Look. Hey, don't be a... Look, what's this? Hey, what's this? Are you really going to be tough with me right now? Well, look, y'all get his butt, at least. See? He's giving you the eye of Sauron. Alright, go on, get out of here. Okay, there he goes. Bobo, it is amazing. And you know what? If it doesn't exist in Denmark, go out and make it happen, man. Fill that niche. Do I have curry mango chips? I do not believe so, Santa. I will have to try and look for them if we do. Put a diaper on that cat. I don't think he'd appreciate that. He may be giving y'all the pink eye, but it's a clean pink eye. You only have basic chips and some weird ones? What's weird about them? By the way, for all of you out there, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a bit of an Easter egg going on with my shirt. Do any of you get what's happening here? Oh, goat cheese and thyme. Very interesting. Well, so I mean that's happening, but do you get the pun or the joke with what's happening right here? It's an angry bird of prey, and the extra fun bit is this is green on my shirt. And so what's happening with my green screen? And then what's a quality of bird of prey ships? Hey, there we go, Barbarian. Hopefully you enjoy that. It's a fun little thing. I wear this shirt every now and again. And hopefully if you all ever catch it and you're a Star Trek fan, it just delights you to no end. I can only guess, though. I hope you all are a bunch of nerds, but yeah, exactly. The ship is cloaked, right? You can't see it. You see right through it. Kapla. That's right, Fanog. Kapla to you. Now, if we really wanted to, if we want to develop, oh, imagination is checking in. Okay. Although you're currently watching The Expanse at the moment. Oh, okay. I have heard good things about The Expanse. If we really wanted to, we could go through and make a city map atop our big sea potato or whatever we want it to be. Religious buildings, whatever. We have a lot of the basics, right? And so I think that our campaign for Saturday, our outline that we can present to you all for good RP ideas, is going to take place on or by way of the Cascade. Never really watched much Star Trek in Denmark. It was like either you like Star Wars or Star Trek, never both. Oh, a civil war almost averted. Or almost sparked, I should say. It was averted. So here are the basics for this, and you know what? And just, again, pure randomness and drawing together. You all have the power to do this. Whether or not you've played a lot of D&D before or any role-playing game. This was done as a consequence of some random numbers. And all it took was just being kind of open-minded and asking questions. Well, why does this work? How could this work differently? What's this all about? Who's the person who runs this operation? Oh, you think that this would be more like a Babylon 5 situation with because it's a monarchy with a militaristic bend? Oh, Bobo, the things that people can fight about. Yeah. You've been thinking about watching it, but it was younger. Well, you know what? Now that you're older and you can defend yourself from bullies, Bobo, you watch it and you be proud of it. Yeah, they can't have those really cool sci-fi scenes though of all the ships sliding along and then going down and then ejecting down into space to repel the next attack wave. I mean, maybe, but they'd be kind of like submarines, I guess. Which series would be best for someone who has never watched Star Trek? Well, Fanog, depending on your access to those materials, you could watch them all, and you can watch them in order, either of chronological release date, real world order, or you can watch them in order of the Star Trek timeline. In which case, Enterprise, original series, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine, Voyager. And then there's whatever this new one is that's hidden behind a paywall. I couldn't tell you about it because I'm not leaping over that paywall to watch Star Trek. Bubonic, hey Maddie, the idea reminds me of an ancient TSR game. Old timers remember this. Metamorphosis Alpha. At least the ship part. Well, if any of you out there have your brains picked, you can thank Bubonic for bringing back those memories. Or curse him because maybe you died a horrible death. Diog, if the majority of the population is halflings, are the half-orcs, and half-halflings? That's a very good question, Diog. It's our world. What would you like it to be? So they're kind of like goblin-esque? Or because, look, this is a ship that has at least 1,000 people on it. It could be that, you know what, there's a large population of orcs that are, you know, laborers or whatnot. A lot of humans out there. If you want to keep the traditional blend of orc and human. If you want to blend halflings and so the half-orcs are just that. I suppose that could be done as well. To try and, you know, get this new strain of sailor. Of someone who, you know, is hardy and resistant and can work hard. And be a good warrior. But you can imagine there's humans and dwarves and such on this ship. It's just that we randomly determine that half-orcs are the biggest minority race. You'd like short half-orcs for a change? Sure. Then we can flavor it as such. Bobo, I'd like to... Wait, I think I know what to do now. Only need to put a few job applications out, then you're free. Well, yeah, focus on that stuff first. The half-orcs aren't a product of crossbreeding, but genetic engineering. That could be something... If you are on board a Great Old One entity, I'm sure orclings. I'm sure that all kinds of interesting things can happen. And maybe there's a reason why only the captain or some other people this is a hereditary line as a monarchy, right? So the captains have all been in the same family. And maybe only those who carry the pact with the Great Old One can safely go down there, and it just so happens that they drag some people down there every now and again. And something happens. And then you get orclings. I just played a short, chubby half-orc cleric. It's fun to mix things up. Oh, that's cool, Bobo. It's like the Morlocks and the other people in the Time Machine movies. See, there we go. We've kind of invented-ish a race. And we have now this floating city, this hopefully neutral-ish, at least, entity in the world. As it floats around and it hauls people and equipment and all this other stuff. It has its own economy. And you know what? It has at least one character that lives aboard. And you know what? The other members of the party are probably going to be aboard it too. For the adventure that we're going to plan on Saturday. Well, you know what, everyone? We've done some awesome brainstorming. We're up to 3 characters and a settlement. What this means is tomorrow we're going to make the last 2 characters to make a 5-person party. And when that's done, on Saturday, I'm going to show you how we can examine and reconcile this party to find strengths and weaknesses and so forth. And then we're going to sit down and together, we are going to make an outline for a campaign on which to send these characters. Now, if you take notes during this video, I mean, not just this, but, you know, it's going to be put up on YouTube or whatever later, as you're taking notes, use this content in your own games. Feel free to. This is open creativity that we're doing here. And you'll find it not just here on Twitch or when it's re-uploaded on YouTube after Twitch gets prima nocturna with my content. If you want to join our Discord, it's work safe. It's PG-13, so you can enjoy it while on a lunch break at work or whatnot. Yeah, Diog, exactly. Sufficiently advanced magic is indistinguishable from science. It blurs. Actually, that's kind of the confrontation in Mage the Ascension. Or was it Awakening? Anyway, the battle with the technocracy. You are welcome to join our Discord. Just remember, keep it work safe, keep it, PG-13. And if your name on Discord is different than your handle on Twitch, please change your nickname so that they match. And if you need help doing that, I can help you, or there's some mods who should be able to help change your nickname on Discord to match your Twitch name. Yeah, so the vice versa, Zuler Pi, is the technocracy within the mage game. So Diog, I mean, if it's Diog without the underscore, that's fine. Or if you're Dio, well, I mean, is that a JoJo reference? Yeah, that's fine if it doesn't have the underscore. If I see Diog here and I see a Diog in Discord, the underscores are not really a big thing. So that's what we're gonna do. That's the plan. We're gonna have 5 characters after tomorrow's broadcast, and then we're going to conceptualize a story together to send the characters on. Though it should be presented in a way that it's still rather open, and you can take those ideas, or you can even take the characters, because these characters are going to end up on our Discord after the campaign is plotted. Yes, we did say JoJo, Santa. Evil good doesn't actually exist, and the morality of the world is actually relative. Yes, that's why it's often better to think of evil and good in terms of selfish and selfless, or things like chaos. If you're a chaotic character or a lawful, you're either methodical if you're lawful, or you are if you're chaotic, it's more spontaneous. Yep, that's it, bubonic. And you know what? Those are good conversations to have about, what is the nature of evil and good. Can you really define it by putting it in a can and putting a label? Well, you say, well, I have a lawful good character. Well, what does that mean? That doesn't really tell us anything. Lawful good does not mean lawful nice. I mean, you can still head stomp goblins and shatter their teeth and make their eyeballs pop if you're lawful good. Does that mean you're a good character if you do that? And you can say, well, but look, goblins are evil. Yeah. I don't know, you're the one popping heads. Well, for me, it also depends on what race you play. Humans and orcs might have different views of what's good and what's not. Yeah, so again, are you selfish or selfless? And are you methodical or are you spontaneous? You find evil good to be an oversimplification or having to, yeah. And that's so, that alignment chart, that 9 alignments, that is good, solid D&D 101, right? Good guys versus bad guys. Some people are kind of in between, and there you go. That is good D&D 101. And then D&D 201 is getting into the whole selfish, selfless, methodical, etc. And when you get to more advanced courses, you are now getting into cultural norms and moral relativism, and you're getting into these sociological considerations that maybe not everyone who just started playing Dungeons and Dragons at their kitchen table has ever considered. And some people don't want to. Some people just want to play good guys versus bad guys, and they want to stab goblins and not feel bad about it. And you know what? You can do that in D&D. It's up to you. How far do you want to take the details? Yeah, at least in their eyes. At least while their skulls still have them, eh, Bubonic? Lizard folk are spicy about alignment due to their alien nature. Yeah, in fact, on our Discord, we were having an awesome conversation about that because Kitsune was trying to develop a lizard folk culture in our project workshop, and I think she had a good time of it. It was a very good conversation. Solid conversation. Hey, Paisy, good to see you. I still find the 9 alignments useful as a marker for new players. Exactly, it's core 101, D&D 101. There's a cultural idea of what most of those mean. It's a good signpost to use, and then to explore what it means later on. Exactly, I agree with you, Paisy. Diog, I tend to use the Lamentations of the Flame Princess alignment, where you only have neutral, lawful, and chaotic. And they're not values, but depend on your character class. Magic users are chaotic because they've touched magic and therefore chaos. Only clerics are lawful. Anyone else is neutral. Interesting. To be fair, all Cinemonsters? I'm not sure if I'm familiar with that term. Are spicy about their alignment. Alright, everyone. It is 3 a.m. my time here in Ohio. I am going to be getting to bed soon, and we're going to go raid someone. In fact, I see someone here that I'd love to give a raid. Speaking of Eldritch abominations and battles and weird things and maybe even alignments, here is someone that is playing Slay the Spire. And so we can go give her a good old Maddie raid. I'm sure she'd enjoy the support. She's active, she's fun. And it would be a good way for our community to reach out and help promote hers as well. Diog, thank you very much. And Dow, is that how you want me to pronounce it? Dow, thank you very much for the follow. Santa, thank you. Yeah, get those follows in last minute. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. This is what we do. Bread and butter storytelling, D&D planning, character creation. And on Tuesdays, we've started playing D&D on the channel, which is something I hadn't done for the past 6 months, since I began broadcasting, honestly. So it's brand new. If you want to watch it, it should be a VOD. If you want to watch the session, and I just uploaded session 0, and, well, 0's been up. I just uploaded session 1 to YouTube. So our Discord, ! Discord, YouTube is ! YouTube, and so on and so forth. I hope you all come back when we're broadcasting, play our mini games, have fun, talk, be a big unrepentant nerd and role player. It's all good here. We focus on D&D, but we could talk about Star Trek and Babylon 5 and just all kinds of stuff. Oh my gosh. It is wonderful having you all sit at my game table in my game store, effectively, and to be a part of this journey together. So let's go raid. There we go. All right, everyone, boo, load aboard. We're gonna help Mary, Mary Ellen Katz. If any of you have experience in Slay the Spire, maybe with card combos or something, I'm sure she'd love the conversation. It's a fun game itself if you haven't seen it. It's very interesting, a good take on, it's a good newcomer-ish game. So anyway, thank you all very much. Night Deagle, thank you.